For those of you guys who are not super familiar with me, I am Michelle Berman-Michael. I am the owner of Berman Media PD and the creator of the Instagram Power Method. And I have had the pleasure over the last several months to travel pretty significantly and get to speak on some really big stages. I've been writing for Inman now for about 3 months, and some big opportunities have come out of that. With that has come lots of new conversations with people, right? Just getting to spend more time pounding pavement in the industry alongside all of you guys. What I want to share with you is a document that I have been working on for about 6 months. And I just feel like it couldn't be more pertinent than it is right now. Nobody here is a stranger to the fact that the industry has been a little wonky. We are in strange times, is what a lot of people like to say, whether you're on the real estate side or on the mortgage side. You know, for the agents who are used to having it be very easy to sell houses, things are sitting a little bit longer and things are getting a little bit harder. There's a lot of one word, which is fear, that's going on in our industry. But the fear word comes from this place of uncertainty, and it comes from this, like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing because what I was doing isn't necessarily working anymore. With that comes in kind of this now what mentality, when in reality, like, people need to buy houses, people need to sell houses, people have to move for work, and having them uproot and having to move. When it comes to a mortgage, right, there's a lot of conversations that can be had. I was just on another call with a gentleman who has this really unique program that his company offers, which is a 2-to-1 buy down for interest rates, where for the first year it's 2% lower, the second year it's 1% lower, and then during the third year it would go back to what the 30-year fix would be. So that's amazing. And the thing with this is, you guys know all of this. You guys have all of this information. You have a lot of things in your toolkit. And here's what I want all of you guys to hear me say. You are not sharing it properly. You're also not looking at Instagram specifically as an opportunity to truly generate business. I'm lovingly going to tell you guys, you're just not having the right conversations, and you're not creating content with the intention of producing it for the person that you're really trying to connect with. So if you're posting a stock image or like a graph or a flyer from your marketing department that's talking about that 3-2-1 buy down program, and you're not really getting on a video or recording yourself talking about how incredibly different this is, right? And the moral of the story is, there's lots of conversations that need to be had, that need to be put out there, that allow and will allow for that fear factor to go away. Now, don't get me wrong, there will always be things like the news, and there will always be things that go out on social media that are going to make people fearful, because that's the nature of the platforms in a lot of cases, rightfully or wrongfully so. But you guys have the opportunity to change the temperature of that conversation. You have the opportunity to capture market share right now. And truly, capturing market share does not mean posting more consistently. Capturing market share means having more conversations with the right people, right? So what I did, and again, I'm super excited about it, is I actually created a document that is going to break down the 3 mistakes that you're currently making. And I will talk through what those 3 mistakes are quickly with you guys. And then in the document, it will also share with you the 3 very simple, but also very impactful tweaks that you can make that will make a massive difference in how you guys not only produce content, but also how you're able to leverage your content. How many of you guys are actively going out and doing likes, comments, and DMs or story replies on Instagram? The true metric, and this is what we teach inside my course, the Instagram Power Method, and this is what the methodology behind a lot of this is. We have to be doing 45 comments and 20 story replies every day is the balance line that we want everyone to work towards. Now, if you're doing 10 instead of 20, that's still better than doing 0. So obviously don't be upset at yourself for that. But what we want to get everybody up to is kind of that line of 45-20. Now, with that being said, I'm going to break down the 3 mistakes for you guys. There's no matter of importance, one being more important or less important than the other. It's just the order that I laid them out. But mistake number 1 is that your content is missing the authentic and personal side of who you are. So for me, when I post personal content, right, when I'm posting pictures of my kid or of my coffee or of, my family going on vacation or me at a speaking engagement with a bunch of people that I haven't seen in a long time, it's not just to post it because I feel like I don't have anything else in my camera roll. Let me just throw this out there. What I'm trying to do is I'm truly trying to create an authentic connection with someone who might also have something or some form of connection to that photo. The idea with everything that I post is that I want people to be able to say me too, right? I want someone to say, oh, Michelle, that's so relatable because XYZ. I want someone to see that I went to a pumpkin patch and be able to say, oh my gosh, I went to my first pumpkin patch over the weekend with my kid too, right? So being able to post authentic and very personal content is a matter of critical importance. And a lot of people, when they post lifestyle content, is what we call it, the problem is that it's all like branded photo shoot type content. So it ends up being very billboardy and it really lacks that personal connection. And then also it ends up being mostly stock imagey. So we're kind of missing the video piece. And here's what I will tell you guys about video. It's not a matter of like, hey, you really should consider doing video. It is a matter of you have to be doing video in order to survive in this game right now. There is no, maybe if I decide to dabble in it, like it has to be a thing. And the reason I say that is, can you hear someone's voice in a still image? Can you understand their mannerisms? Can you get to know kind of the personality? Can you get to know the way that they talk? Are they super direct? Are they not? Are they sarcastic? Right? Like all of the things that come from being able to hear someone engage is irreplaceable. And that's one of the three mistakes that people are making, is they're really just struggling with understanding how to create personal connection. And they're like, oh, well, nobody will care, or my life is boring. Just kind of a lot of the standard things that most of you guys have heard. So long story short, authenticity is key, right? Being able to show up as your authentic self is something that I feel like, especially in the current industry that we are in, is so critical. People are really craving three main things. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to feel important. They want to be able to see themselves in your experience. They want to be able to connect with that experience, and they want to know that you as the content creator have taken the time to learn about what's actually happening for the consumer in the market, right? Instead of just posting as a real estate agent and talking about real estate stuff all the time, pick up the phone and call your client. Or if you're buying a house right now yourself, talk about that. Talk about the experience, and talking about things that are actually happening for your clients is going to go a really long way. They want to be heard, right? So if they reach out to you and ask a question, it's not about you, it's about them. People love to hear themselves talk, so give them the opportunity to talk. And then thirdly, being able to move the meeting. So when you are intuitively going through this conversation with someone in their DMs and you aren't putting the ball in the court of that person being able to then meet you, you're missing the point of what social really is going to allow you to do. So that's kind of leads me into mistake number 3, which is that you aren't moving the meeting. And I'll go back to number 2. So sorry, I'm going out of order, but not moving the meeting is really a big one. Have you guys ever successfully moved the meeting in your DMs? Meaning, have you ever sent a DM in response to someone saying, hey, we should meet up, go have coffee here, or hey, are you available on Tuesday? So if you are doing engagement, right? If you're doing your comments and you're doing your story replies and you are not moving the meeting, meaning that you're not taking the initiative to say, hey, I know we've been chatting about this a bunch. Summer Moon is my favorite coffee shop. I know that you live in Plano. Are you available next Wednesday to go meet for coffee there? When you're going back and forth in your DMs with someone, instead of just responding to their stories and saying, I am so excited that you went to a pumpkin patch, you have to end that with a question, then you have to be willing to move the meeting. So again, this comes into kind of the intuitiveness of understanding the conversation, knowing the timing of when it kind of makes sense to move the meeting, because the last thing anybody wants is for you to just send them a message saying, hey, do you want to meet for coffee next week? And this person's like, who the hell are you? So you have to start the conversation intentionally and authentically, and then use your intuitiveness to say, it's now time for me to move this meeting and I need to do that. The third mistake, which is actually technically number 2 on the list, but for the sake of the way that I did this, I accidentally went out of order. But mistake number 2 specifically is that the engagement you are doing is not actually doing anything. So a lot of you guys mentioned that you're doing engagement, you're consistently reaching out and doing likes and comments and story replies. And what I want all of you guys to really understand is that doing engagement is one thing, right? We have to be willing to show up consistently in comments on people's content, in story replies and that type of thing. But we also have to do it with intention. So choosing all 5 days of your week to be able to consistently pick a category or pick a bucket, if you will, of places you're going to go on Instagram to engage. So if you're spending time engaging and you're like, man, that just sucked up an hour and a half of my day, I don't have time to do that every day. So therefore, I'm going to start doing it less and less and less, which is its own problem. Most likely, it's because you don't have a strategy on where to engage each of those days. So you're going to end up, thanks to the algorithm, you're going to end up just consuming the same people's content consistently every day. So if you guys open up Instagram and you see at the top the stories, you end up seeing like a lot of the same people every time. So you end up engaging with a lot of the same people every time. That's Instagram's way of saying like, hey, obviously you like this person's content. I'm just going to keep showing it to you. So with that, you have to take the initiative to go outside of that and kind of train the algorithm to show your content to more people and go out and have conversations with more people that are outside of that comfort zone for you. Because guess what? Nobody's a stranger to the saying, but that growth comes outside of your comfort zone. So are you going out while you may be doing daily likes and comments? Are you intentionally going out and seeking new connections that could turn into more conversations that then could turn into conversion? Long story short, the document that I created breaks down the 3 mistakes in extreme depth. It then moves into 3 specific tweaks to actually help you fix those 3 problems. And then ultimately, it's going to give you the opportunity to just brain dump on which of the 3 mistakes you need to spend the most time working on. And then also which of the 3 mistakes, needs to be something that either you get coaching on, you get help fixing, or you just create accountability around actually executing. But what I want everybody to really understand is that prospecting and what I'm telling you guys to do in these 3 mistakes is a matter of critical importance in the industry that we are in right now. Because if you are not prospecting at scale or building relationships at scale, you will get left behind. And if you're not showing up consistently on social right now, you will get left behind without a doubt. Because right now, more than ever, the people that are doing well are the ones that are doubling down on their social presence to be able to create the conversations and create the connections that are going to keep them in the game. And the ones that are not are the ones that are going to really struggle a year from now when all of those other people that have now captured the market share that they kind of missed out on.